Queen of the Ring is an amazing tale of the origins of women's wrestling, and really detailing the life of Millie Burke and her ultimate rise to becoming one of the most successful women's athletes of all time. When Iron Claw released, I was very excited because it gave us an opportunity to really look at a family story and the rise through the ranks of the different promotions that existed at the time. Queen of the Ring really gives you that same perception. We are watching Millie Burke rise to becoming one of the most influential women's wrestlers of all time. Now, in this story, you are getting to see her beginnings tales. You're seeing where she started and ultimately where she found herself as time went on. Now, in this movie, the one key aspect that I really appreciate was that it was based on true events. Now, obviously, in movies, you're going to have that liberty where they go a little bit in a different direction, so it's not 100% factual. But this movie is incredible. It is 2 hours long, and never once did I think about, oh, I'm ready to leave. It is a movie that if you are a wrestling fan, you will enjoy. Now, what I really appreciate about this movie was it really told the tale of women's wrestling, where it began, and ultimately the many challenges that it faced. Now, in many different states, women's wrestling was banned, and so it really was a fight for them to have equal treatment to ultimately headlining different events around the territories. Now, as you sit back and watch this movie, you're going to be introduced to love. You're going to be introduced to a lot of downfalls as well. And I think that's what made this movie so incredible. We get to see Billy Wolfe, how bad of a person he was in many situations, but ultimately being credited for the continued promotion of women's wrestling. And like I said, as a wrestling fan, this was one of those movies that I was very, very intrigued to see. Now, when you look at this movie, you have a lot of kind of cameos or characters based off of people. You have Jim Cornette come into the picture. And if you're a wrestling fan, you know Jim Cornette was very big on the territories. You have Gorgeous George. You got to see the impact that he had. And even Mae Young makes her appearance and ultimately to her rise. Now, if you are a kid during my time, so I'm 30 years old, you remember the Dudley Boys and poor Mae Young going through a table. And so what I really enjoyed was it was bringing real characters that existed into the picture. And we got to see where they began, why they were the way they were, and ultimately how women's wrestling found success. Now, I don't do this very often, but for me, Queen of the Ring is a 5 out of 5. This is, I think, the second movie in 2025 that I have given that rating to, but this movie was just incredible. The storytelling, being able to see the origin stories of Millie, getting to see her rise from a diner worker all the way up to a superstar, becoming one of the first $1 million athletes for females. It was just incredible. I think you were able to watch this movie and see who you liked, who you hated, and ultimately the impact that they had on its development. And now, even as a fan today, you can sit back and see where women's wrestling was. In many ways, you look at the Attitude Era and women's wrestling really became for looks. But now we are back into women's wrestling being appreciated and then being able to showcase the real skills that they have. But Queen of the Ring is a 5 out of 5. It is a great movie. I will definitely be going to see this movie again. When it comes out, it is one of those where I will buy it once it hits digital. But go check it out. If you are a wrestling fan, you will definitely enjoy this movie. But Queen of the Ring is out now. Make sure to go check out the other reviews I have posted. Hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you all later.